So, planting project, Australian planting project in Pozières. I'm going to stick here. And then maybe some others will have some ideas in this box.
A Frenchman once famously said, "Je pense, donc je suis." I think, therefore I am. He didn't say, "I speak, therefore I am." That is fortunate, because I can no longer speak clearly. But I can think. I think a lot about trees. So therefore, according to Descartes, I am. In particular, I think about the trees that are planted along city streets and country roadways. I more usefully think a lot about the wide network of amateurs and professionals who think similarly and are change makers. They are the links. Since 1997, that has only been about TREENET. But now, thanks to Chantal and her multinational vision, I can't stop thinking that no matter where we live and work, we are all allies of the ALLÉES. We from TREENET have been inspired by all of you and learnt so much these past 2 days and are thinking more clearly as a result. Somehow, the future looks brighter and greener already. In 2030, autonomous vehicles will replace the autonomous horses of 1830. The ALLÉES are moving for water peace. I have asked Glenn's wife Vicky to present a brief overview of our plans for Paysages. As presented, it's only an Australian ALLÉES de Guerre, but we will be redrafted as an ANZAC ALLÉES to include the battalions from New Zealand who fought beside Australians in the 1st and 2nd ANZAC Corps.
Thank you, David. So on behalf of David, I'd like to share that of the 2,905,000 people, Australians, who served on the Western Front, more than 46,000 died there. These casualties represent 75% of the approximately 60,000 Australians who gave their lives for us during World War I. Many more, I've got Joanne's problem. Many more who returned home died in the years following as a direct result of physical and mental suffering endured during the conflict. So why at Paysages? The village is an emblematic World War I site for Australians because it was their first victory on the Western Front, fought under extremely difficult conditions. It is also the site of Australia's highest single battle casualties in any war. 23,000 casualties, of whom 6,800 were killed on that site. Charles Bean, the historian and journalist, described the windmill site as a ridge more densely sown with Australian sacrifice than any other place on earth. It is expected that the trees will be planted in the northern spring of 2020, most probably coinciding with the Anzac Day activities on the Western Front. 2 distinct rows of trees are likely to be planted on either side of the roadway, leading in and out of the village along the route from Albert to Amiens. Representing the sacrifice of Australians during the conflict, in our pledge to always remember them over the century later. This ambitious project is conceived as having 2 distinct stages. Firstly, the battalion avenue of 70 trees, The Infantry Battalion was the key World War I Australian organisational unit. There were 60 Australian battalions in France, 5 divisions, each with 3 brigades and each with 4 battalions. The Battalion Avenue at Pozières will become a living, arboreal memorial to the fallen. Each tree will have a plaque identifying the battalion by number and colour patch, a record of the numbers, if not the names, of those who died. 10 other activity units will also be represented, such as artillery, engineers, medical. There is a second project leading into the future. They're thinking of an international centennial avenue of 100 trees. I suggest maybe that I need to shorten, so you might like to talk to Glenn or David about that later. Yeah, we will remember them. Thank you.
Voilà, merci beaucoup. Merci.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
Voilà, je suis casse-pied. C'est pour qu'à 16h, on est bien terminé.
No, it's simply because we want to stop at 4 precisely.
On a changé. Voilà, en fait, on fait dans l'ordre du tableau.
So we will go on following the chart so that our intelligence may also follow up on the developments of this conference. So please, 3 minutes maximum so that we stop at 4 without having to run after time. So Barthélémy Lemal, we've already listened to you quite a few times. Transborder perspective, so you say a few words regarding this. There's already an alley or an avenue in Bouzonville. Well, until 2030, or between now and 2030, so there will be competition between cities and villages. But if you look at mobility in cities, there will be less noise, less dust, and more flowers, and of course more and more nature. But in villages, when we planted this alignment of trees, we were able to observe one thing. So agricultures, people in agriculture, farmers, and of course if you speak against them, they will say that they are forced to do that, but monoculture seems to be at the agenda. So there's no flower in wheat or whatever, so there are no flowers anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, so I'm also raising bees, and I could observe that I used to produce 15 kilograms of honey, and in Berlin, where my daughter lives, so 30 kilograms. So it was very hot today in April. As far as from April, it was very warm. So we had many flowers, we had many trees also. So we had quite a lot of honey. But bees need those flowers to be able to live and to organize the hives. They collect more honey, more pollen rather than we do. And if you look at a large collection of, if you look at cereals, it's it's rye actually. It's very limited to in the country of Moselle. So we need to be put in competition with the largest cities. So this means that we need to go back to nature as it existed some time ago. So we would like to do that on pathways. 7 or 8 hectares of pathways that need to be rediscovered, that need to be transformed. And people, of course, are not very patient and not very happy with that, because we would like to clean them in late September, October, but this gives a chance, an opportunity for other flowers to grow. In a few years, those municipalities, those villages that won't react likewise, so won't have any opportunity to compete with cities, because cities are much cleaner. So they have transport, they've got their own cultures, but they've also got their own nature. On the roofs, for instance, so we've got flowers, we've also got facades or house fronts with open facades and natural facades and so on. So cities will change in the future. And I think it's high time that we understood in villages that we need to respect nature and that we work together with farmers. And for young farmers, that's quite important. There's a young farmer who's decided to take over his father's farm. And he came to see me and said, okay, well, we've got about 10 hectares of ground, but we would like to do something different with those fields. So we would like to plant hedges, and out of 10 hectares, we'll have about 10 acres of hedges. They decided also to refer to this mayor who decided to cut off trees. Well, of course, I can understand him. I can understand his point of view, because in small municipalities we used to work in the same way, so we don't receive any money from the state. It's very difficult, and our accountant says that we need to reduce expenses. So this gentleman, of course, thought of cutting of trees, but we decided to do things in another way. So we had a heating boiler, so it cost us 27,000 euros. So we decided to go back to pellets, and now we pay 4,000 euros. Well, of course, it's true that we paid 140,000 euros for that boiler, but we receive also 80% from the state.
C'est dur de couper chacun, alors c'est passionnant.
So it's quite difficult to not to listen to the end of your speech, but in ways you will give us explanations regarding the sense or the meaning of hedges also in Deutsche Alleenstraße, 3 minutes.
Hello again. At first, I love trees, I love alleys, and I love to drive with my convertible through the green tunnels. My name is Erwin Pfeiffer. I came from Munich in Bavaria, and I'm responsible for the German alley road. Some of you have seen the flyer, which was displaced in the tables outside. Some of you also have a look to the guide. It's a travel guide, and that's the reason why I'm here. It's a totally different point of view to the aspect of alleys. We talked a lot about history, we talked a lot about wartime and so on. Let's talk about vacation. Let's talk about your vacation. Let's talk about the vacation of the citizens in Europe, even in Germany. So let's get a view to the positive aspect. From our point of view, the alleys are a natural heritage which is perfect for lots of our regions in Germany to show the beautiness of the landscape and to invite the guests to travel there, to stay there, to see what the landscape offers, to see what the area offers, and to get an impression of our country, even they do more than 2,900 kilometers beyond the highways. It's a tour beyond the Autobahn, it's a tour to smaller cities, it's a tour to beautiful areas with seas and lakes and wood and a lot of trees. Not all of the 2,900 kilometers are with trees on the side, but even in the northwestern part and the northeastern part, Katharina tells and Piotr, there are lots of trees, there are lots of alleys, there are hundreds of years old, so it's really a beautiful aspect. And that's my profession. I work for the German Autobahn Club. I'm aus der tourism branch. So I try to convince our members in dozens and dozens of informations to come to the German alley road, to drive along, to get an impression of those beautiful trees, and to get, via driving on that road, a more better understanding for their own trees they have in their own cities and in their own areas. So that's the reason why we take care for this touristic route, and we try to focus on that. We try to plant trees on the road, we try to conserve them, and to show the beautiness what's all combined with that alley road in Germany. So That's fine for the time.
Merci beaucoup, Erwin.
Thank you very much, Erwin.
Voilà, Marie-Madeleine Damien.
She's
Trouvée ou elle est encore là? Ah oui, voilà, pardon, vous avez pas vu.
World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage Project.
De l'UNESCO, donc dans la rubrique, si je peux dire, établir des liens.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all. I would like to say first of all, I love trees. I don't know whether the PowerPoint is working properly. Okay. Then I'll introduce the association in a few moments. I would like to show you a very nice tree. I would like to show a very nice example of a nice sample of a tree in Flanders, still living today. I love trees because on all my sides there are avenues of trees. And I've also included 2 photographs of American cemeteries in Marne and Meuse-Argonne, where we have 1 soldier, 1 tree. So 14,000 trees on a site that covers 80 hectares. And a very nice place, Morange, a German cemetery, or cemetery of the forest, where we've got forests that are more than 100 years old. So that's the so-called observation tree, which is also covered by barks, so very close to Armentières, fossilized. Then the cemetery in Meuse-Argonne, military cemetery, so where the tree avenues, very nice. Then the one in Marne, so that's quite similar to those American cemeteries. They're well maintained. Lundbrand also covered with forests, and of course I won't show them all. I would like to come back to the first slide and say a few words regarding this project. So this project started in 2009 in Belgium. So it was a meeting within the OECD and with the ministers in Belgium. So we were looking for regions where we could actually remember 1914, 1918. I was working in the North region with my students, and I said, okay, well, why shouldn't we not work on the landscapes of the First World War? So an association was created in France. So it's a Belgo-French case. So in France, it was supported by the association of 14 departments, or 14 counties, if you prefer. So they were directly impacted by the war, and then with our Belgian friends, so we had to choose 144 sites out of 6,000. Well, of course, it's quite difficult to reduce the list or number of sites, but we would like to have multinational sites and all nationalities to be represented there. So we've got Danish cemeteries, Czech cemeteries, and so on, and we are really keen on doing that. So this is a transnational case, associates, gathers all the partners together, the Commonwealth, the WC, EDPMA for France, etc., and all the sites and private foundations and managers, actually, like the Ossuaire in Verdun or Dormant in the Marne region. So it's a project that has been organized by the people. I'm Secretary General of the association, and I'm in charge of coordinating the entire project. And for each département, for each county, so we have 1 coordinator. The objective is actually to get recognition from UNESCO and to be listed at the level of World Heritage. We give them pictures of our landscapes, but in France they said that we need walls actually to create landscapes. So the first time, so we were not able to get through the whole procedure. And then we reflected upon the First World War. So it's the First World War, so where people were inhumated, and of course, we have national cemeteries, but they were open only to Confederates in America, for instance, and Southern soldiers were not buried. or they were put in common graves and so on, or buried by people who had the money to do so. So we decided to do that in a proper way, so all the people, the corpses actually that were found on the battlefields were put in earth on a systematic basis in France. That's why we decided also to get our case heard by UNESCO. So then we decided to change the title, so it's now called Cemeteries, and we would like to have a whole list of those sites, because only 4 sites have or take advantage from legal protection. So now in France, so 45 have been recognized, and we are also looking eastward, because the Morange cemetery, for instance, is not listed as a national heritage, and we would like to do that, to preserve them, to really make them known and to transfer them to the next generations. And that's why we have this managing project. We have a large map, so 3.2 meters. We've got a whole pathway actually going from Belgium to Switzerland through France, and we would like to establish multinational bridges actually between the countries, so as to take into account different nationalities, or various nationalities that are represented in those cemeteries.
Merci beaucoup.
Also a copy of the different pathways or walkways here, primary and secondary roads. So primary roads, so connecting those UNESCO heritage places and sites, and the other ones, the secondary pathways actually to connect all cemeteries that have not been recognized by UNESCO World Heritage Committee. And the National Heritage Committee decided to postpone our project until 2021, because they would like to see how we can list memorial sites in the list of UNESCO World Heritage places. So we have to look at the Convention of 1972 and see whether this is compatible with our project. So thank you very much for giving us so much information in such a short time. But this allows us to understand what the complexity of such a project is all about. Marina Savera is not here, but I think that Chantal could say a few words regarding the participative wiki inventory that she's been carrying out. She was a resident in the Villa Le Nôtre, which is an architect from Spain. Unfortunately, so she's got an examination, so as to go on teaching at university level. But anyway, so she started a wiki avenues with an inventory of all avenues. Unfortunately, so I cannot give you the internet link, but anyway, so you will all receive a link with this type of indication. And it's participative, so please participate. Thank you, Chantal. Then we will go on with William Tromp sharing knowledge and expertise with the FSA and UNEP. 3 minutes. I love trees and avenues, and I live with trees. I'm a member of the SFA, so I'm in charge of the northeastern region, so together with friends in Lille, we try to disseminate best practices regarding trees. I'm an arborist in Dijon, and I've been working in mending trees for quite a few years. So I'm also a volunteer within SFA and UNEP. We organize competitions to open them up to the public at large, so as to avoid any spirit of elite, so to speak. So we want to open that to the public at large. We organize seminars for the public, actually, to discover what trees are all about. And simply not cut trees as we see them alongside the roads, but we can really have a look at a real tree. And within UNEP, so we've got specific regulations. Well, I didn't participate in the creation and setting up of those norms or standards, but I participated in the so-called renovation of of trees. So you know that we have a school certificate for that, and there's a specific case where we have to help a victim of an accident in a tree. So we decided to have a look at rules and standards and to make things a bit shorter so that we may help people in the proper way and respect trees at the same time. So I try to share my expertise, of course, with SFA and UNEP. Thank you. So let's go further with Erick Constensou, practice of transversality in terms of co-construction, so between different types of players.
Entre différents types d'acteurs.
It's an exchange of expertise actually with the municipalities, Béatrice in the Garonne region. I love roads, of course, but I also love trees. And that's maybe the difference with road managers. So this is an avenue that was actually leading to a castle. It was now a local road. So there are catalpas, 100 trees actually alongside the road. When the road was handed over to the county, so the municipality was actually committed to take care of those trees. Unfortunately, they came to the end of the life cycle, and the municipality couldn't take care of them and manage those typical instances. So the ONF, the manager of roads and trees, was called upon for the municipality, and today the municipality has launched a new management form. This was started in 2013, so we're now in 2018, and all the trees were to be felled after a certain time, were to be removed from the road. But we should also preserve the twigs, so to replace the other trees. 1/3 of trees was taken into account, so it's a bit short. So you can see that this is quite chaotic. But this is part of management difficulties met by a small municipality, small-sized municipality, and I think that the county will certainly take over so as to support the municipality in that project, so it's cooperation. So we decided also to talk to Chantal, and we've got a certain number of interesting clues. Could also say that Arbre and Paysages association has also supported the municipality. So we've got central administration, département, county, and municipality, and we actually shared experiences because I think they had only one person to take care of those trees in the municipality. So thank you very much for that testimony. And
l'exemple de coopération.
Of course, you understand that in a few minutes you will be able to choose the action that you would like to support, either establishing of links or bridges, or animation, or technical data, or whatever. So let's go on with the third type of actions, animation or activation activities. Katharina had to leave us. The fact of walking through an avenue, the BUND, Bund in Germany. I think she showed some video yesterday, so together with the Association of Rügen, so 1,900 kilometers through Germany, and they decided also to speak with all the mayors and municipal councillors and so on, and replace trees and so on, and talk also to school teachers and people in charge of those schools. So thank you. So in the name of Katharina. And last examples with Béatrice Saurel, artistic project and cooperation, multi-site project. So how can we let an avenue be considered? Well, I don't like trees. I love them, and of course I love avenues because they are made up of trees. So Chantal called me a few months ago with regard to a project that would be in relation with this seminar, with this meeting. So I've been working quite a lot with collectivities and schools, associations, NGOs and so on. And in those presentations, when I heard the fact that children were quite well represented, and I think this is the value of tomorrow's world. If we need to raise awareness amongst people, well, let's raise awareness amongst children because they represent the future. And I've been working quite a lot with children, so it was an interesting project, and this is also a question that was raised at the time when we mentioned that project. So avenues, how can we reorganize those avenues and get schools interested in the project? So we decided to work in different ways. So we've got the symbol of a flag. A flag is a nation. Flags also refer to celebrations. Flags also connecting to Himalaya, so the fact that people make wishes or write the wishes on those flags and materialize them. So we decided to ask children to make flags that would deal with war and peace, and well, children don't know what war is all about. It's not very concrete, of course, they didn't experience it, memorials and so on, so they don't know what it's all about. And if we explain to them in very simple words what it's all about, well, I think they can participate in workshops. So we wanted to do something here around this place, but there's something even more interesting, because it's a war that was the First World War, so we decided to extend also that concept of flags to other countries. That's why we had contacts with Niger, because if I remember well, colonial soldiers were also present in that war, but we never mentioned them, so we decided to work with Niger, so together with their schools, and I think that my friend here could speak about that. We decided also to go further away and reach other regions in Africa, in Europe, as well as in other parts of the world, and this small flag actually has become the symbol, logo actually, which you can find in all sites, in all places, and people should know that the flag is actually a way to defend trees and commemorate the First World War. Thank you very much, Béatrice.